Hey brothers, Viper here for another video, and today we're going to talk about someone special, someone very close to us, someone that's always there for us and that we can rely on, someone that helps us keep ourselves tidy and organized through the day, and you have to admit that's every guy's true first love. We're talking about our dearest Molly. Who needs a girlfriend if you can get all the love from Molly, right? So, quick, don't forget to sub and hit the bell button to show your appreciation for both us and Molly, and we can continue to help you guys out regarding these sort of subjects that require sometimes just a small explanation to get you properly started. Now, the Molly we are referring to is definitely not a girl. No, we're talking about the tactical Molly system, which is definitely one of those things a lot of people use wrong when they're using it for the first time. But even once you've figured it out, there are still some tips you might want to know about to make the process a bit easier. So to start off with, what is MOLLE? MOLLE is an acronym for Modular Lightweight Load Carrying Equipment and is used in conjunction with a PALS or Pouch Attachment Ladder system. Whereas PALS refers to the mounting system or webbing on, for example, your plate carriers, belts and backpacks, while MOLLE refers to the pieces of gear that attaches on this webbing, like M4 magazine pouches or any other sort of pouches. That aside, when it comes to the MOLLE system, there are many different connection styles for pouches some brands have come up with due to the original Natic snap being patented. All these connection styles have their own advantages and disadvantages, but have in common they replace the old Alice clips. What's it today with all those girl names anyway? So, besides the Alice system, all these systems have in common that 1. They are an extremely secure way of attaching pouches and similar stuff. 2. They are modular systems, so your setup can be changed. And 3. They form a great way to organize your stuff. All these features make MOLLE and PALS even begin to become more common for outdoor usage as well. Of course, in order to properly make such a system work, they need to comply to a few conditions. First, namely 1, the platform that carries the PALS must be rigid, and 2, the platform must be durable enough. If not, the platform will not withstand the weight of the pouches. Now, the materials that meet these specifications are Cordura and nylon and have become the military standards. For tactical usage, 500D or denier, which refers to its density, is more than enough. Besides this, you nowadays also get the choice between the classic stitched MOLLE or the newer laser cut MOLLE. They both have their strong and weak points, and it's up to you to make a decision between the two. If we look at the classic MOLLE, it is known for being very robust, which means with even heavy loads it stays tense over time. Above that, it's also easy to clean. On the other side, the newer laser cut MOLLE is much thinner and doesn't require any stitching in the manufacturing process because it's cut with lasers. This makes it lighter in weight compared to the classic MOLLE. But the slits in the material might become bigger over time by usage, and dirt easily gets caught inside, which makes it harder to clean out. Alright, now before you start attaching your stuff, you first want to figure out how you will configure your setup. For this, the first tip we can give you is to count the space of the webbing grid to get an idea of how many pouches will fit, so you don't spend money on too many pouches. You also only want to use the pouches and webbing you really need, so don't overdo this stuff because it will only make you less effective. Now, the second tip is to plan your setup and mind things like the size of your pouches, their weight, and how their position might limit your movements. Think like with running, crouching, and even going prone. Furthermore, things like how you want to access your pouches and whether you need to access them a lot or not is something to think about as well. To help you figure this out, you either want to construct your setup by laying it out with the pouches on it, or making a quick assembly by attaching the pouches in a very simple way by just making use of one single piece of webbing. You might even want to fill the pouches so you get a better idea of what works for you. And like you can already hear, that process takes time. Now, once you figure that out, you're ready for the full assembly. For ease of use, you first want to empty all your pouches. Then you want to take the loop or loops from your pouch and get them through the first horizontal row of webbing. This is the part that most people do correct, but that's not the case for the next step. What most people tend to do then is to put those loops all the way through the whole webbing. Then they lock it and done. But this is actually wrong and makes your pouches not sit very secure and tight. So what's the right way? Well, it's actually a weaving process, which means you alternate between the webbing of both the pouch and, like in this case, the carrier. Obviously, by doing so, you don't want to skip any webbing for the best performance, and when dealing with more loops, you rather want to weave the loops at the same time by alternating between them. This will make the process a lot easier. After that's done, you just have to lock the system. Like mentioned earlier, there are a lot of different closure systems, but the most common ones require you to either snap a closure or use a piece of stiffened material and put it back upwards through the webbing. By doing so, your pouch is very securely attached and won't go anywhere. Now, the thing is, when weaving this stuff a lot, you will hurt your fingers. So you might want to look for a speed threader to ease the process a bit. But do notice that a speed threader cannot be used with every closure system. Now, after you've assembled everything, you best put it to the test, and yes, it's highly possible that you still want to make some changes after you've fully assembled everything. What? I've just put everything in place, my fingers hurt, and now I have to get some stuff back off and attach it again? Well, we have a neat trick for that, and it involves a flat-headed screwdriver. With such a screwdriver, you can easily unsnap the closure or help pull up webbing to ease working with the loops. That aside, you sometimes might find a pouch that's equipped with a double Moly loop on the bottom. There's a reason for that, and it has to do with belts. If you're using a belt that's not equipped with a webbing, then this extra Moly loop allows for a sturdy fit. For this, you want to use the most outer loop first and lock the system by going upward in the inner loop. Also, now that we're talking about belts, it's possible that if you're using a belt equipped with belts, you can't fit certain holsters even with their specific Moly adapter. To solve this, you can bring the inner belt out over the piece of webbing and attach your holster with its belt mount in that way. After that, you can bring the remaining piece back inwards and you're ready to go. Now, as probably already seen, Moly and pals form a quite tight fit with not a lot of margin, and our personal experience with both real steel and airsoft brands made us conclude that some airsoft brands don't really mind about the correct mil-spec fit for both the Moly and the pals, besides their already poor quality and stitching, which makes them sometimes not fit or align properly with other brands, while the real stuff can easily be interchanged from one brand to another without any problem. And again, this is one of the reasons why you should always go for the real stuff in the first place. If you already have gear from an airsoft brand, we suggest you to stick with that brand for the fitting of those pouches, otherwise it's just guessing whether other stuff will fit or not. Alright, now, if you have no clue where to start as for setting up your personal carrier and belt, you can take a look at our personal gear setup videos, in which you can expect a lot of useful tips as well. We'll put the link in the description down below. Don't forget about our quality monthly giveaways. Participate at Reconbrothers.com to get your shot at them. Let us know if you prefer the classic stitched Moly or the newer laser cut Moly. What's your opinion on them? Let us know in the comments below. Again, we thank you guys for watching. Hope you learned some stuff, and if you know a girl named Moly, say hi to her from us and tell her she might be more special than she thinks. Don't forget to sub and smash that bell button, and we'll see you guys next time. Participate at Reconbrothers.com to get your shot at them. Participate at Reconbrothers.com to get your shot at them. Allee! Hoe is dat nou mogelijk? Ruimte.